Bye.
Hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I am your host, John Harris, and my right-hand man over here on my left-hand side now is my Gabriel... What are you doing, son? Is my Okay. Okay. I'm being joined by my right-hand man, Gabe Zababes, who is going to be our assistant engineer today.
Which I'm on the left-hand side.
You're on the left-hand side, yes. Flyers. So I've got on the show with me right now. They've been putting out some banging singles, and right now I'm being joined by Ian and Leo to share some stories about the music and share more info about what the boys have got going on. So, Ian, Leo, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much.
Hey, man. Yeah, how you doing? You all right?
I'm perfect. I'm great. I'm fabulous. How are you boys? How was life in the UK this evening?
Yeah, not a lot going on. Just in lockdown, you know.
Staying in the houses, doing nothing really. Yeah, it's great.
All right.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Groovy. All right. Well, let's go listen back to that track over and over.
Over and over.
The track Over and Over, which, as I recall, opens up with some... I don't know what I want to call that. Is it fuzzy guitar? Is that what it is? It's pretty sweet guitar tone, let me tell you that.
Yeah, we sort of working out different sounds for the verse because I think it sounded a bit boring just with a normal crunch. I think it suited that kind of with that jumpy sort of riff, that dun, 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 that galloping riff. It sounded really nice. Playing around with a couple of fuzz pedals that the producer had, and just found one we really liked, and we were like, right, that's it. We're having that. Yeah, it sounds really cool. It's come out really well with the bass underneath when that comes in. It's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole track is very well composed. You mentioned you had a producer, and so that kind of strikes me as that maybe a lot of help in finding that tempo that helps that gallop and that drum beat that helps that gallop. Like the whole, no part in the band is conflicting with each other. The whole thing sounds very cohesive.
Yeah, I mean, we had this. We jammed out this riff, and then so we just built on that riff throughout the entire song, as you might sort of notice, sort of like dun 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 dun. Then we sort of added in the extra notes, and it gets to the chorus, it gets more powerful, and you know, and then it just goes a bit crazy in the middle bit, and it just sounds brilliant how it come together, but sort of was quite simple in a way, but yeah, it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. And then somebody started screaming at me.
Oh yeah,
that'd be Ian. Yeah,
that'd be me. Yeah.
He's a screamer.
Well,
ask his bitches. He's a screamer.
well, the great thing, Ian, about this track is that you're screaming, but there's still a melody, and you're not like screaming. And what I love the most about this track, and we'll get into the meaning of it. Maybe it transposes to the meaning. I'm going to call it bottled enthusiasm. You guys are coming at me with so much energy, but not so much that I'm like, whoa. Like, take a step back. It's more like, okay, tell me more.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very much kind of, a track with lots of swell to it, kind of the feel. I mean, it's the first track we've only been together. It's obviously the first single, but Leo played kind of a rough version of it, and he said to come up with some ideas. We all got together and we kind of jammed it out in the studio, and I came up with the vocal melody, and then we worked on the chorus to give it that kind of build and that kind of, it's that broodingness that never kind of explodes, but I know exactly what you mean, and it just gets bottled up and it kind of grabs you, I think, and it's that's why I liked it. It's kind of hypnotic, if anything, and it was quite easy to actually put down a good sort of melodic kind of feel to it as well, and then the chorus kind of opens up quite a lot, and then there's different parts. Obviously the breakdown middle part, that goes a lot heavier, and that sort of builds as well. So it was a really nice track to write, actually. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. My riffs make it easy for Ian to write lyrics to.
Perfect. Now, I mean, I guess my next question then is, was there a certain point at which you guys got in the track and just kind of looked at each other and went, what in the world did we just write?
Yeah, I think there was. I mean, I think when we were rehearsing it, it was just it just kind of happened and it clicked, and I think it was the sort of this general kind of look around and thinking, yeah, this is all right. And Adam, our drummer, is really critical, and he really kind of takes a track and he just doesn't really kind of just drum on it. He literally will think about it and he'll pick it apart and say, well, let's try this, let's try this, let's try that. And it's really good because it kind of pushes you to say, yeah, let's make this as good as we can. And originally there was a kind of different chorus, and made it a bit more busy in the chorus, and we said, let's step back and work it and keep it more simple. And then that just worked, I remember sort of thinking, yeah, there's something special about this song.
Well, I think something that you mentioned there was, I think there's intense energy, but the song breathes, and I think that if you went too busy with the vocals, then it would take away its breathability.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now,
I'm curious, all of that energy that we just chatted about, is that related to the lyrical content at all? Like, what is Over and Over about?
It's kind of about being on a treadmill, I suppose, because it's just like, it's sort of the daily ins and outs of life, and without going too deep and stuff, I suppose it's everyone's caught on this endless cycle of going around, and you can either get out of that cycle and do something, or you can kind of stay on that kind of treadmill. And I suppose that's the simplistic kind of way of explaining it. It's just life goes round and goes around. You get on, you get off, you jump in, you jump out. There's not really political kind of connotations or anything like that to it, but I suppose it's just like everyone, just about kind of, without going too deep, about kind of humanity, I suppose. And from the band, we both come from two bands that had just sort of imploded, and music's obviously it's your life. And then starting up something again and meeting Leo and the guys, and then being in the same situation that I was, it was kind of good to actually get something and channel lyrics back into something that kind of meant something for us as well. So when we'd obviously both been on a journey with different bands, and then bringing it back together as a brand new band is something that sort of opened up different creativity and outlets. So I suppose it's a bit about that as well, really. But it's mainly, the whole thing is about the kind of humdrum of life and being stuck on this kind of overarching treadmill that you get pulled on and tipped off at various points. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get up in the morning and I don't leave the house. So I'm like even on a smaller wheel than I was before.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned some people actually need that wheel. I'm watching people like lose their grip on sanity because they don't get on the trolley in the morning, and they don't go
totally.
They don't go get the Starbucks coffee that they don't need. But it's part of that wheel that keeps some people sane. It's crazy.
Exactly. I think, especially now. I mean, with obviously it was written before kind of lockdown and all the crazy coronavirus stuff, but it's kind of quite apt to what's going on at the moment. If we think about it, really. Yeah.
Now, if you dug the track Over and Over, and you'd like to check out the music video where you can see what appears to be Ian screaming so hard that he's actually wigging the camera out, you can go ahead and check out the music video by going to today's show notes at www.therockmetalpodcast.ca. Track Wolf Machine.
Wolf Machine.
All right. Ow! Coming back from the Wolf Machine, which very explosive track, but in an incredibly different way. It's almost like a different band. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I think it's
Not in a bad way. Like, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just...
No, I know what you mean. Because obviously, Over and Over kind of was... I think being the band so early in days, this is going to sort of be a case maybe with us trying out different kind of vibes and songs. And, I mean, like, seeing what fits best moving forward totally. But at the same time, it is a bit more aggressive, I'd say, as a track. A bit more in your face, rock and roll kind of vibe. Then Over and Over, which is a bit more sort of grooves through. But yeah, I think it's a great track. Just and to be honest, it's nice to have the variety as well with the tracks too.
Yeah, and I think we've got quite a lot of variety in the band because we've got lots of different things we've each kind of brought from it. So we've recorded a few tracks, and there's quite varied. I mean, they've all got our own sound, mainly my vocals, Leah's guitar, and the kind of the feel to the band. There's kind of that kind of alternative rock feel to them, but there's it's quite a variety and a mixture of things. We kind of delve into Wolf Machine's got a bit of punk to it as well, I think. So there's a bit of everything really, and we just throw kind of lots of stuff into a pot and see what comes out really. And we've got a couple of not not ballads, but slower tracks as well that you might listen to and think, oh wow, that's totally different as well. And it's but it kind of, hopefully it kind of merges into one sort of band. I suppose we're starting out, so it's a question of working out where we're going and just getting some songs that we really like and getting them out there, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, with Wolf Machine being definitely an edgier track, what is this track about? What is the Wolf Machine?
Well, it's basically like government, really, and media and everything else that.
What's wrong with those?
Feed you. Where do we start?
Where did they go wrong?
Yeah. Just feed you all this bullshit, really, and it's just about. Yeah, I mean, there's a verse in it that's about. It leans itself towards the war, like about sort of troops out in the war and things like that. I think it's just about don't really want to. They just put you out there to die, and they sit in their comfy chairs and just dictate and don't get their hands dirty, and just bullshit their way through life. So I think it was cool to just put a track out with a bit of a statement as well in political wise, especially in these times because our government are absolutely useless. So.
How do you really feel, boys? Wow, it's all coming back to me now, as Celine Dion said.
What a banger.
I know. She is looking good for her age. Sweet. And true story, we just finished watching a whole bunch of Monty Python, so after you said comfy chair, I was taken right back to the whole comfy chair thing. The comfy chair. Beautiful. Now, if you dug the track Wolf Machine and you want to check out the boys looking fashionably sensitive yet one more time, over and over, you guys are just stripped down to T-shirts looking great. Here, we've got some great fashion sense. You guys must look good on camera. Wait, you do. You can go and check out the music video by going to today's show notes at www.therockmetalpodcast.ca. Now, one of the things you guys have mentioned was that there will eventually come more tracks, will eventually come potentially an album. But I think the key question that I have is you wanted to throw some tracks out there, throw some spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks kind of thing. Just take us through that process. Not necessarily the throwing part, but maybe the sticking part. How do you find the response, and how do you feel that is maybe governing some of your next steps?
Ian?
Yeah, I don't know if it's kind of government. We're just doing what we love. And I mean, obviously, if some people get back and say that song's awful, then that we have to deal with that. But I think we just make music in a sense, we kind of make music for ourselves, and we want to just do it and enjoy it. And we want to be proud of the stuff we're putting out there, so we make sure there's quality control of the songs. But and we know that certain people will like one of the tracks, and they might not necessarily warm to something that's heavier, or somebody who likes the heavier stuff might not warm to the stuff that's slightly softer. So I think we're just kind of going through this journey. I think with most new bands, really, is just to kind of get. I think we've got the identity, and we know what we want to kind of write, and we know what we want to say. But I think it's just a question of just writing as much as we can, and just just playing as much as we can, and getting out there as much as we can. And I don't know it's so much about sticking, but I think it's just a question of just doing it and just enjoying it and just loving what we do, making music, hanging out together, and just playing music, really. So more than sort of taking it as we want to sort of test the water or anything. So I think if we'd have put Over and Over out and it had a really bad reaction, it would have been okay. But then we put Wolf Machine out and it's had a bad reaction, it would have been maybe we're not, we need to sort of think about what we're writing. But I think we've had such great reaction to them both. It's quite sort of, it's heartening, really, so we can just carry on and just keep doing what we feel what feels right for us, I suppose.
Sounds like you guys are being true to yourselves.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
True that.
Mm-hmm.
True that.
Exactly. No, not amongst flyers there.
No.
Beautiful. Now, the big honking question for everybody who is still listening to the program and absolutely loves the two tracks Over and Over and Wolf Machine and is dying to hear more. The question is, so what is next then?
Next up, I mean, we've got all our songs back now from our producer. We literally just finished them a week before lockdown, luckily. So he's just sent them all over today, actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of pick which one we feel is right to release next, and maybe look at getting that thing out early September. So we're just going to. We don't know which one yet, but we've got a choice of 6. So we're going to see what one flows best after War Machine. And got that's the next plan anyway.
Groovy.
Obviously, we're not playing anywhere, so we're just going to keep releasing music.
Sounds like a good plan for a band to do.
Yeah, it sounds quite normal, actually. Normality in the world of weirdness right now.
Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite critiques. How can we get somewhere? Well, you're a band. Have you released a song in the last 2 or 3 years? Get to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
The songs off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to go on tour, but we'll just release music.
Groovy. All right, well, boys, unless there's anything that I missed or anything that you wanted to chat about, I just wanted to thank you for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Chat to a lovely Canadian man like yourself.
Oh, well, thank you.